What are the Children of the Watch? Throughout the story of The Mandalorian, the bounty hunter Din Djarin, also known as Mando, has been the protagonist. From the very beginning, he's acted differently from other Mandalorians we've seen before. His strict behavior and rules, such as him being prohibited from removing his helmet, made us question if this was a permanent change in the Star Wars canon and how it will affect the future of that universe. When Din found himself on the brink of death, he was rescued by the Night Owls, a group of Mandalorians led by bo-katan, who immediately took off their helmets in front of him, revealing to the Mandalorian a terrible secret. He was a child of the Watch, a member of a radical sect of Mandalorians. What exactly are the Children of the Watch, and why do they have such militant traditions? In Season 1, Mando once said that his weapons were a part of his religion.
I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion.
At the time, we believed that he was being metaphoric. But now, thanks to the revelation by bo-katan, we know that he was being literal. The way of the Mandalore is a creed installed in children from a young age. But what did this religion, or cult, consist of? The first rule, as seen in the series, is that Mandalorians can never take off their helmets in front of another living being. Those who did reveal their faces were being disrespectful and were not deserving of calling themselves Mandalorians. Another important characteristic of this group is the methods they use to grow their numbers. Along with natural conception and reproduction, they took orphans or abandoned children and raised them as their own. If they couldn't, they would do whatever possible to reunite the child with their kin or kind. They would train these kids in combat disciplines and their ideology about the way of the Mandalore. There exists an unbreakable bond of loyalty between the members of this Mandalorian group. We witnessed this in the fight between Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin, which was interrupted by the armorer who reminded them of the way of the Mandalore. This shows that their worship also establishes moral and behavioral standards. "This is the way" is a phrase constantly repeated by the members of this tribe. This is done to remind them of their ideology, a sentiment that Din once believed all Mandalorians shared. But thanks to bo-katan's revelation, we now understand Mando's overly strict behavior, as well as the different rituals that occur in the first season of the show. There are legends about the Sith, the Jedi, the Empire, and the Republic, and Din seems to be clueless about all of them, even when the armorer spoke of the Jedi when referring to them as ancient sorcerers. This shows that within this creed of supposed zealots, there is the intent of suppressing information, or at least interpreting it in a way that its members don't know much about what happens in the universe, regardless of the way of the Mandalore. We can think of the main Mandalorian culture that bo-katan is a part of as a religion that has evolved and grown with the times, becoming less strict. Meanwhile, the Children of the Watch are a lower subgroup of that religion that adheres to ancient and potentially draconian ideals. This brings us to a surprising revelation. Although Mando accused bo-katan of not being a Mandalorian because she removed her helmet, it is he who is not one of them. Din is an orphan of war, saved by a tribe of people who may not have been from Mandalore. They were guided by the teachings of what they thought was a mythical leader in history. Looking back at the first season of The Mandalorian, we thought that the Mandalorians lost the war at the hands of the Empire, or even the New Republic, and were forced into exile, now living underground, fighting to survive with their armors broken or incomplete because their pricey Beskar was stolen by their enemies. Yet this is far from the truth. They are hiding and acting this way because they are not an order of Mandalorians. They are a radical division of the Mandalorian order who are trying to restore the old ways from the time of their mythical leader of Mandalore. This revelation is one that Mando refuses to believe, even after being told the truth by bo-katan.
Children of the Watch are a cult of religious zealots that broke away from Mandalorian society. Their goal was to reestablish the ancient way.
There is only one way, the way of the Mandalore.
Then again, he was saved by the Night Owls. Bo-katan even uses the phrase, "this is the way," in a sarcastic way, as if making fun of Mando's fundamentalist beliefs.
You're changing the terms of the deal.
This is the way.
But by the end of the episode, the two fight together as a team, and Din seems to have found a new respect for the Night Owls. If Mando can't find a safe place for the child, or someone to raise and protect him, he would have to train him in the ways of the Mandalore. For the Mandalorians, it doesn't matter where you were born or what species you are. As soon as you become an orphan or abandoned, you already meet the requirements needed to become a Mandalorian. However, more importantly, now that Mando knows that his ideology is kind of extreme, he will gradually begin to change his point of view. We saw that he was ready to die just because he wouldn't allow anyone to remove his helmet, even after sustaining a head injury. Only after IG-11 convinced him that he wasn't a living person did Mando let his helmet be removed for the android to treat his wounds. But surely Din will break this rule on his own eventually, now that he knows that the majority of Mandalorians in the universe do remove their helmets. We might see him moving away from the doctrine of the Mandalorian cult as the series continues, opting for a more free way of life, like that of bo-katan. Maybe we will see actor Pedro Pascal again in the future. There is the possibility that bo-katan, as well as the rest of the Night Owls, become recurring characters of the Mandalorian. Remember that the Star Wars stories are known for having large and diverse groups of characters. Right now, Mando has a mission, which is to find the child's home or kind. But now a more important mission is added. As we saw in the Season 1 finale, after Mando confronted Moff Gideon, it was revealed that Gideon has the Dark Saber, a weapon that belongs to bo-katan, and that she needs it back to become the leader of Mandalore. It could become Din's duty as a Mandalorian to help her complete her mission, which could lead him to face yet another dilemma, abandoning his tribe and joining bo-katan in an attempt to restore Mandalore. The Mandalorian Season 3 sure has the potential of becoming one of the most interesting tales in recent Star Wars history. But what about you? Could Mando end up joining bo-katan and the Night Owls now that he knows the truth about those who raised him? And please don't forget, subscribe to our new channel, Mandalorian Universe.